MCU movies, but obviously I enjoy this way better than the first one, and hopefully the third one probably is going to have Thor in it and it can find its way again. Next we have The Incredible Hulk, which I'm going to give a C. I feel like this is the most unnecessarily hated movie in the MCU, and just because it was made way before, it doesn't really fit in, and it obviously has Edward Norton instead of Mark Ruffalo, but it's still a good movie. You have all the fun Hulk action you want to see, and I honestly buy Edward Norton as Bruce Banner more than Mark Ruffalo. As much as I love Mark Ruffalo, what he does with the character, true to Bruce Banner, I feel like Edward Norton was very good as him, and it's just a fun film. The boss fight with Abomination is a good time. If you haven't seen it, because a lot of people haven't, go and watch this. You're not going to waste your time. Like I said, it's just a fun film. Next, we have Iron Man 3, and this might be another unpopular opinion, but this gets an A for me. I just love this movie. The final battle, first of all, with all the suits, is just very cool for an Iron Man film. One of the only negatives is it ends on him retiring and then it gets undone right away. But besides that, all the stuff with Pepper, I didn't mind. I actually liked the Mandarin twist because I'm not a comic guy. I haven't read a comic in my life. I don't mind it. I thought it was a funny twist, and I didn't mind the new villain as much as other people did. And I think this is the only thing that held this movie back for people. If you couldn't get past that twist, but I thought it was better. And once again, the Mandarin was more intimidating maybe, but the physical match wasn't there. And I like the direction they take it. I like loose interpretations of comics. Like I said, I don't really follow them, but I do know about them from videos and stuff. And I like when they take a little twist, and nobody really wants to go into a movie knowing exactly what happens, so it didn't bother me. And obviously, the storyline with him and the kid and the shed, I just like this movie, and it's fun to rewatch. Next, we have Iron Man 2, and sadly, this gets a D from me. I believe there's a good movie in here. They just do way too much. They're trying to fit in too many storylines. Once again, like I said, I like Iron Man 3 a lot, so they corrected it, but they just filled this movie up. None of the villains are particularly good. I mean, they're not bad villains, but if they just took one and focused on it and the true motivations, it would have been better. And I don't find Tony Stark to be his full Tony Stark self. I just think the script is a mess for this. The actors are incredible in it. It was just a waste of what could have been a really good movie. And part of the reason it's probably D and not C for me is just because of what this could have been coming off of Iron Man, which is the next one, which is another A movie. It started the MCU, all the right humor, you learn about Tony Stark and what makes him the way he is, and you see his development after this film and a little bit in this film. The action's fun. Ironmonger is like the opposite of him, kind of with the same-ish powers, but it just works in this, and it's the first time we're seeing it in this universe, and it just has so many iconic moments, so this is an easy A tier for me. Next, we have Avengers Infinity War, an S tier. The third Avengers film to be an S tier movie. The biggest thing for this, first of all, I loved the perspective of seeing Thanos' story, seeing the villain. He's the main character in this, and our Avengers are just pieces, and you care about the Avengers too, but you're kind of interested in Thanos more than their storylines. The action's amazing, and our heroes finally lose. Yes, it mostly gets undone, but even when it gets undone, there's still the payoffs, and they have to have trade-offs, obviously with Iron Man and Black Widow and stuff. So I don't think Endgame ruins this movie at all. I think it honestly makes it better, and it's just like a really rewatchable film, even though it's not rewatchable for the other reasons. Although it is funny, it has a lot of good quips, it has that deep emotion, and it makes you feel every time the snap happens. No matter how many times you've seen it, you still feel for what's happening in the moment. Thanks for going into the latest MCU film, Spider-Man Far From Home. I really enjoyed this. At first, I didn't know what to think. I thought it was kind of like some weird high school comedy, but then I realized it's capturing perfectly what high school is. The awkwardness is there. Tom Holland and Zendaya can be really awkward in this, but it really works because of the scenario they're in. You believe they're in high school. The humor is there. The first half of this movie is literally just a comedy, and then it makes a switch. It still has some quips and stuff, but the action, with spoilers here for the movie if you haven't seen it, when Mysterio becomes a villain, he's really interesting for someone that's not a physically challenging villain. He uses Mysterio's powers, and the not dream sequences, but the hologram sequences where he traps Peter Parker in are some of the coolest things you'll see on the big screen if you haven't seen this. I don't know why you're listening to me because this is spoilers, but you should definitely go see it. Such a cool sequence. MJ, they actually made her a likable character in this. In the Tobey Maguire films, as much as I love those, she's just kind of a damsel in distress and kind of an asshole to Peter. But in this, she's unique. She has her own ways. She's different. And Ned is funny as always. Nick Fury's great. And Jake Gyllenhaal just gives an all-time performance as a villain in the MCU. Next, we have Homecoming. This is just a good Spider-Man film. You care about it. The twist with the Vulture is great, and how his crush is Liz, his dad. I love that. And it just has some great Spider-Man moments in it. Not as many as we're used to in the other films, but it has some true moments, and like when he's trapped under the rocks. And it's just a good small-scale story. It's not the end of the world, not even the end of the city. He could just let this guy keep going on with his robberies to secure his family for the future and then quit like he says he's going to. But Peter knows he has to do what's right and stop him. And it's setting up stuff for what's going to be in the third movie, most likely the Sinister Six. So, great movie, great lines, just not good enough for me, and I don't like to rewatch it that much, so it just gets a B for me. Next we have Thor, which I'm giving a C. It has some good humor. There's some decent action sequences in this, but overall, the final battle is pretty boring to me, and it's kind of important in an action movie. Some of the fish out of water stuff, like I said, is some of the best parts of the humor in this film, but it's not really that funny to push it up, and it's just an okay film. Good enough to watch every now and then, and he is better. Chris Hemsworth is better in this film than The Dark World for sure, but it's just okay. And finally, The Winter Soldier adds to our S tier movies.
There's 2 Spider-Man,
Just
1,
a
2, 3
great
Iron
change of
Man.
pace from the rest of the MCU. It's a serious movie with obviously the MCU humor sprinkled in, but you're really invested in the story. It's a political thriller. The villain, while he's not menacing, is still just the opposite of Captain America's values. And then he has to fight his best friend Bucky, and he doesn't want to kill him. He knows Bucky's inside still. It's a great film. Black Widow is amazing in this movie. Rest in peace. And this is still one of the best movies in the MCU. Captain America, his trilogy is one of the best. First Avenger, like I said, it's a C for me, but this is just an amazing trilogy. So, this is my list. Let me know in the comments your S tier and your literal garbage movies, and which ones you disagree. I will see you guys in the next tier making the video.
Movies tier list ranking MCU movies. Save. Okay. F11. Go back. Second. How the hell do I? Oh no. Presentation mode. Okay. No, go back. Yeah, right, yeah. F11. Okay. PNW, PW, 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 PW. Okay. Yeah. Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today guys, we are doing a MCU movies tier list of all the Marvel movies. As you can see, with God tier, amazing, good, meh, and rather eat poo. So I'm not saying rather eat poo in a bad way. All movies are good, but just there's some that are terrible and there's some that are the best. So yeah guys, thank you for joining the video, and we're going to start off with the Thor movies. So the Thor Dark World, that was a long movie with not much action in it, and the best character, Loki, in that film was trapped in prison for half the film, and then it was a bit too late. So I think, and everyone else, Thor the Dark World is going in rather eat poo. It just didn't have enough effort into it. They focused too much on trying to do too many things. Now the first Thor film was actually really good, guys, but compared to the other films, I'm putting it in good, just because of storyline and stuff, you know. And finally, Thor Ragnarok is the best of the Thor set, and I can't wait for Thor 4, but Thor Ragnarok is amazing. And guys, I will be tiering it, so if I do have more than one in the same row, which I will, I'll put it from left to right in best to worst of that section. So yeah, Thor Ragnarok is amazing. It's just so funny, and I love the characters and that. Now, Ant-Man, it's just amazing. Like, Ant-Man is funny. The villain's not the best as a character, but when he's in the costume, like the suit, it's good. It's a good fight at the end. Good plot with him and his daughter and stuff. So yeah, I'd say that's definitely amazing. Now I did find Ant-Man and the Wasp a little bit worse, which is why I'm putting it into good. But I do think Ant-Man and the Wasp is better than Thor, so I'll put it to the left. Same with Thor Ragnarok, I do think it's just slightly above Ant-Man because of fighting scenes and plot. But you know, Black Panther, that's God tier. Like, the amount it did for the community, the amount of money it made, and the fight scenes were just really good. So I'm putting it in God tier. Captain America now, the first Avenger. I really like this film, guys, but it could have had a little bit more. And obviously, since it was early film, it did really good for being such a great film in that time. So I am putting it into good tier, but above Thor and Ant-Man Wasp. The Winter Soldier, I know a lot of people love this film, but I did not like it. I don't know, it just wasn't that thing for me, that same connection for me. So, you know. But yeah, it's not, I would rather watch it than eat poo, but like, unlike Dark World, for Dark World. But yeah, it's just not my film. Captain Marvel. Now, a lot of people did not like Captain Marvel, but I did. Although it's not an amazing or god tier for me. I'd have to put Captain America, the first one, above Captain Marvel though. And yeah. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy is god tier. Like, it was like the first. I went into theater, not cinema, not knowing what it was, and then I was like, what the hell could that be? It's not gonna be MCU. And then I found out it was MCU, so I was like, yeah, I'll go watch it. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen in the cinema. It was just hilarious. It had such a good plot. The villain was a bit boring, but everything was just so good. Volume 2, Guardians of the Galaxy, rather eat poo. I did not like the story. I did not like the villain, even though I do love the person that plays Ego. Because he plays Santa in Christmas Chronicles. But yeah, because I love that. But you know, it just wasn't a good film. They tried too hard. I love Baby Groot, but that was about it, really. Doctor Strange is amazing. It's funny. Now, it would be god tier, but the start of the film for like the first third of it is just boring plot stuff. It's not really that great. But once it gets to the fighting and him becoming Doctor Strange, it becomes really good. So that's why it's an amazing. Hulk, the Incredible Hulk. Now a lot of people hate this film, and I know it's because it's not Mark Ruffalo. I have the feel if it was Mark Ruffalo, it would be here for me. But because it isn't, and because it was actually kind of, I mean, the timing of it coming out and what they had to do that film then compared to now was a lot different. So, and the graphics weren't as good, but I still like the Hulk in the film and the story. So that's why it's going bottom of good. It could be top of meh, but you know. Iron Man 3. Now, I like some of this film, but it's better than Iron Man 2 for me. But I think Iron Man 3 is going low good, and Iron Man 2 is going high meh. Because Iron Man 2 is just, it was very boring. The fight scenes weren't that good until the end, and they could have done more of it. Iron Man 3, I really liked the end. I did not like the, what's his name? You know, I forgot his name. The bad guy, not Adrian. Who cares, guys? But it was just not that good, apart from the ending scene. So yeah, that was pretty much it. And the start was very boring as well. Anyway, guys, let's go on from that. Iron Man. I'm sorry. I know it's not the best film for fight scenes or anything, but he is my favourite character. I have liked Iron Man from the very beginning over every other character. The only characters that have come close is Ant-Man and Spider-Man. He started it all. Amazing fights. The final fight scene was a bit bad, but the suit designs, just the original idea of the suits, it was just such a good story. It's top of God tier for me. Civil War was like Avengers 2.5. It wasn't a full Avengers, but it was basically Avengers. And it was in between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Age of Ultron. I'd say it's probably somewhere between, like, in the middle of good. I didn't really like the whole bad. I didn't like the villain at all. I found the plot to be a bit, it went good and then bad and back and forth. So yeah, for me it's good. We'll go Avengers Age of Ultron. I would put it top of Rather Eat Poo, because I did not like this at all. But I'm going to put it bottom of meh, just because it was a good final fight scene, which probably saved it, but everything else with the whole Ultron thing and that, I did not like at all. Now, Avengers, it goes top of amazing for me. It was the first five, all of the first five together in this big fight in New York. It looked really realistic, like they was fighting in the whole of Manhattan, just amazing. And it obviously had Mark Ruffalo Hulk in it, which was amazing. So, you know, that's going in top of amazing for me. Now, we'll go on to Spider-Man before these last two Avengers. Spider-Man Homecoming. I really like the new Spider-Man. Obviously, we saw him in Civil War, which was personally my favourite thing from Civil War, seeing the new Spider-Man and it being Tom Holland. I really like the story of Spider-Man Homecoming. The villain, I like him as a villain, but then I don't like him as in a character, if you know what I mean. Like, I like Vulture, I just don't like the character. So for me, Spider-Man Homecoming is probably the top of good, because it was really good film with good plot. It had my favourite character in Iron Man and my second favourite probably Spider-Man. It was just really good. Far From Home. This was such a good film until they ruined it with Mysterio. I did not like Mysterio. I liked the person that played him, but once he turned on Spider-Man, I was like, nah. So this is probably, it's definitely better than Hulk and Thor. I'd say it's about here on good. I know there's a lot of good guys because there's only some that are in God tier and amazing, and then there's only some here. Now, guys, the last 2 Avengers. This is close. We'll start off with Infinity War. Amazing. There's not much more I could want from that Avengers Infinity War. Obviously, with the snap and stuff, it built up so much drama for Avengers Endgame. And I loved Thor's entrance into Wakanda. That was my favourite thing of pretty much favourite entrance of any Avengers film, Marvel film. Because every time I watch it, I just get the chills. I'm like, yes. So this has to go above Black Panther in God tier. Now, with the final film, Avengers Endgame. Obviously, obviously the start of it was good because they found Iron Man, they took him back. Then they killed Thanos, obviously. And then from there, it was just a long, about an hour of just boring stuff. But it did lead up to the very final battle, which was amazing. It was so good. I loved the portal scene where everyone came in. That's my second favourite entrance in the MCU movies. But with Iron Man dying, I just have to put this top of amazing because they killed Iron Man. But apart from that, it's just probably one of the best. And I know you're right. How is Iron Man the best? It just is for me. But yeah, guys, thank you all for watching. Obviously, guys, if you want to go make your own tier list, just go to tiermaker.com. You can make your own, as you can see in the top left. And I'll see you guys next time. Anyway, peace out. Bye.